subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
All right, I'm gonna get Bushmeat Barrister and Brother Robbie. Let me see what Bushmeat has to say first. Mr. Bushmeat Barrister. What's going on, Bushmeat Barrister?
Yeah, I just have a well, I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think black women are the right hand men for white supremacy today?
The one from your village, they're the
No,
worst.
no, no.
No, the
Because
ones
I
from
was
your
just looking up
village.
a
Mm.
I was actually looking up a statistic that foundational Black American women aborted 40 million babies ever since 1973.
Mm.
And on a recent college campus, there was an FBA woman saying that the black community is overpopulated, which is just ludicrous. Uh, so I just want to know why black women think like that. Why they don't have respect for black people in general. Why do they feel the need to abort their babies?
Everybody Google country with the highest paternity fraud.
No,
Oh
why are
yeah,
you talking?
yeah,
Why
yep,
are you
yep, yep,
deflecting?
yep,
Why are you
yep, yep,
deflecting?
yep, yep. Google
Why are
that.
you deflecting?
No, no. Google that. I don't even have to say nothing. Google the countries with the highest paternity fraud. You want to talk about how people shit on children and disregard children and have no respect for children?
In America, though, why do black
Oh,
women
oh,
abort their
no, no. In
babies?
your damn
And you talk
village,
about birth
in
replacement. Black
your village, boy, the child finesse game. Y'all are scamming with babies, selling the babies in orphanages, selling them to white folks. Don't go there, sir. Let me get my brother Robbie in here. Robbie, hop on in, sir. Brother Robbie.
he has a janky phone.
Oh,
But can you
well,
just answer that
he
question,
must he
Tariq?
must have bought it from you, sir.
Well, just Tariq, answer that question. Why are black women aborting their babies in record
Oh,
numbers?
sir. No,
Oh, I was
no.
muted. I was muted. That's what it
There
was.
you go, Robbie. How you
What's
doing,
going on,
brother?
brother Tariq? How you doing?
I'm
I'm
good.
doing pretty good, man. I'm actually going to go back a little bit to the conversation you had with the previous brother because I think it was bringing up an opportunity for something very powerful that I want to hear from you.
Yes.
You know, when you were talking about tethering, it made me think to explain to the previous caller. You know, when you print too many dollar bills, it loses value. So when we allow other people to tether on to our identity with flat blackness, it dilutes who we are and it lowers our value. And
Yep.
it made me think when the Vaquero guy was sitting there begging you in real time, right, to get you to do a debate. He tried to basically Shador Sanders you. So what I would like for you to do, because I'm somebody who's an admirer of your legacy and you inspire me, could you break down and explain the process of knowing our value and knowing how to negotiate, because that's the importance of like being self-aware and again having identity, because when you have an identity crisis you're not going to really know your value and you could be undervalued or will be listening to other people's opinions. So I thought that was very powerful how without even realizing it you didn't allow that guy to Shador Sanders you.
Hmm.
And then I look at Ryan Coogler, he knew his value, he proved himself. So if you could just kind of break that down to us, I think that would be something that could potentially be some gems for us that are aspiring entrepreneurs or just being FBA in general. And I land my plane.
Good man. Good talking point, brother. Thank you so.
Yeah, and I totally agree with Robbie. A lot of foundational Black American, especially FBA men, they don't know their value at all. They're so confused and lost. Uh, but back to my thing, a lot of FBA women are killing their children, and it just seems crazy. 40 million cent babies have been aborted, and that's probably why the Black population has stagnated ever since the 60s. It hasn't increased. While the Hispanic population back in the 1960s was like 6%, now it's like over 20%. Um, so something's up. There's a lot of self hatred going around, FBA men and women. They just hate themselves, and They don't have a lot of knowledge. They don't value themselves at all. So rather than deflecting,
Somebody projecting like a mug, boy.
no, why? But rather than
Sir,
deflecting, why don't
no,
you answer
don't.
that
That's
question?
deflection, sir. Y'all the ones sitting over there with paternity fraud left and right.
What does
You're
paternity?
selling your babies off to Madonna and Angelina Jolie. You're sitting over there hungry with cake soap all over your damn face, talking about somebody has self-hate issues. Do you really want to go there, sir? Let's get FBA Chuck in the building, please. Brother FBA Chuck. Unmute your microphone, FBA Chuck. What's up, Chuck? Probably a double mute, brother. We'll let that double mute unfreeze.
So why don't you answer the question? It's just a simple
Well,
question.
no,
Why are the abortion rates so high
we're
in the FBA?
no, sir. FBA Chuck, we're having a dialogue here. I'm Bushmeat Barrister.
Okay, I understand that, but can you answer that question for me though? The abortion rates are extremely high in the FBA community. So many Black American women are aborting their
Sir, but
babies.
you're
Why
not,
is that?
sir. That's not a question that a tether from a failed homeland is
No, I'm
qualified to.
asking you. But I'm
You're
okay.
not qualified to ask me that, sir. That's the problem. You're not qualified. You can't come from complete failure where you guys are shipping your children off to white missionaries and come over here talking about some damn abortion. You're just not at liberty to do that, sir. You got to get your shit together before you ask us a question like that. Let me get my sister Brooke in the building. Let me get Brooke in here. That's the problem. You're just not qualified to answer to
So I'm
ask
not
that
qualified
question.
to ask
You're
questions
not
because
that,
of my lineage.
not you, because you come from failure, sir. You don't have a track record. You're not in a moral position to ask us
I
a
am in a
question.
moral
No, you're
position.
not, sir.
Yes, I am.
No, you're
I
not,
really
sir.
what?
Not with bushmeat barbecue sauce on your fingers. No, you're not. Brooke, are you here, dear? Sister Brooke, are you here? What's up with everybody's phone?
Yeah,
Bushmeat,
they're very. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think there's
They're
the magnetic field from your head is disrupting the phone lines, Bushmeat. You
no.
mess with
Yes, I'm
I actually.
here.
there you go. What's up, Brooke?
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm good, dear. How are you, beloved?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. This is a prime example of why we need to just aggregate our numbers, because the stats that he's saying right now are not disaggregated. I have met, especially when it comes to the presidential election, there were. I'm here with a lot of non FBAs, and a lot of them were concerned about the abortion issue. That is not a concern that a lot of FBAs had when it came to the election this year. So I would really like to see those numbers as it pertains to who, when it comes to the abortions, who's really having all of these abortions. Is it really FBA? Because this is exactly why we want to split up the numbers. So when Mr. Bushmeat Barrister makes these claims, we can really know who's the one doing this, because right now you're just putting it all on us because the numbers are all together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll land right there.
Thank you, dear. All right, Bushmeat Barrister. Thank you so much. I don't want to hear no more of that bushmeat babble. But Brother Robbie made a good point talking about why how we as foundational Black Americans, it's important to value ourselves. That's very important because when you value yourself, and you value yourself by not letting everybody latch on to you, not letting any and everybody to come on and stake claim to your cultural real estate. You see, when you have cultural self-respect, that leads to collective power. See, when people understand their personal and cultural worth, it naturally builds stronger, more united and unified communities that will demand and command respect. When you value yourself, foundational Black American, when you understand your unique contributions to history, you will subconsciously protect yourself against exploitation. It becomes harder for people to kind of steal and appropriate and erase your legacy for profit and political gain. With foundational Black Americans, when you value yourself, there's psychological healing from historic trauma that comes with that, because knowing the true greatness of your lineage, that helps foundational Black Americans counter the centuries of lies about inferiority. and us not having a culture. See, we sit up and let these people run that game on us. And we had to say, hey, wait a minute, stop, wait, no. Let's really see who has the culture and who don't have it. See, we had to stop that talk. When you value your culture and your lineage, you start gaining strategic political power. See, groups who understand their specific history and their worth, they can better advocate for specific tangible policies like reparations rather than being lumped into these old ineffective minority categories. See, we're not playing those games no more. That's why we made the Democrats crash and burn. When we recognize that value in our foundational Black American lineage, that leads to economic empowerment for the group, for the lineage, recognizing our collective spending and our creative power of our culture. That inspires building independent businesses, industries, and institutions on our own rather than enriching outsiders. You understand? Because we see the value in each other. We spend with each other. We buy with each other. We elevate each other. You see, and understanding our value that creates resistance to psychological warfare. Because everybody's always running this psychological warfare game on us, telling us what we're not. Just like bushmeat. You guys, you're aborting your babies, nigga. You're not qualified to talk about no damn abortions and y'all selling y'all kids over there in your homeland. His musty ass probably got sold over here. That's why he's over here. His family probably sold him to some damn white folks and they brought him out over here and turned him into a grown Sambo. And then they try to project their stuff onto us. See, many systems depend on FBAs doubting themselves. See, they always want you to doubt yourself. The sky is falling. Oh, see, a strong sense of self-worth that protects you against the media propaganda, political manipulation, and all this social gaslighting that the bushmeats and all these people do. When you value yourself as foundational Black Americans, see that creates proper global representation. See, foundational Black Americans, see, we must define ourselves to the world rather than letting other people and outsiders misrepresent us as generic Africans or just minorities. See, owning the narrative brings international respect. That's why we don't let clowns like that Johnny Somali guy who goes overseas and does a whole bunch of dumbass stuff and then tells people he's a Black American. We're over here saying, oh, no, he ain't. No. When he's doing that dumbass stuff, he's doing that under Somali culture. That he ain't got nothing to do with our damn culture. We don't want none of these clowns out here acting a fool, showing their asses, claiming to be us. Nope, you're not a foundational Black American. If he says he's a Black American, that don't mean he's a foundational Black American. See, we're putting that line in the sand and not letting people put their garbage onto us. And understanding our value, see, that's the foundation for spiritual strength. See, cultural pride, it's rooted in truth, and that provides a spiritual armor. And when you have cultural pride rooted in truth, that's going to connect foundational Black Americans to your ancestors for a divine purpose. That's going to help you get led to a righteous mission, and that's going to put you in the mindset to advance your lineage in the name of justice. So you're going to do the right thing by your lineage if you value it, just naturally from a subconscious mindset. You see, in us valuing our lineage, valuing who we are as foundational Black Americans, that's the fulfillment of ancestral legacy. That's the fulfillment of the legacy. Every generation of foundational Black Americans, we carry the dreams and the survival of those who came before. So when we realize their value and we honor their sacrifices, that fulfills the promises made by the ancestors who fought to exist. See, they fought to stay alive so that they can give life to us. We have to value that. And that's why I'm so hard on Tethers. I'd be damned if I let Tethers come over here after my folks, because I study history and I know what my people did to help these folks. That's why I'm hell on them. Y'all not about to come over here and say anything greasy about a foundational Black American, knowing that my good ass foundational Black American family set up here and brought y'all in, fought to help you immigrate over here. Some of these immigrant groups, the Black churches up here raising money for them to come over, feeding them, housing them. My foundational Black American family lined up out here in the United States in the 1930s to go over there to try to fight for Ethiopia because they didn't want them to get raided. We sat up here sacrificing ourselves so that South Africa can get rid of apartheid, putting our careers on the line. We've done so much for all these different groups. Our good brother Muhammad Ali put his career on the line because he didn't want to go over there and harm any Asians. Nobody would do that for us. That man was on the top of his game, put his career on the line, said, no, I refuse to go over there and harm those Asian people when we got all this racism over here. Nobody has that type of honor and dignity. I'd be damned if I let anybody disrespect that in any form. You don't get to disrespect that while you over here benefiting from that. No, we're way overdue with the damn straightening. We should have been straightening that bullshit up a long time ago. You don't fix your lips to say anything greasy about us. And we paved the way for you to come over here and thrive from some third world joint. And that's what the white supremacists too. You get that work too. We don't give them a pass. They don't get to talk greasy. That's why the term foundational Black American is very important, because we ain't immigrants. When we say we're foundational, do you know how powerful that is? That's saying, God damn it, we ain't no immigrant like you. We didn't come from somewhere else to go somewhere better. We are the foundation of everything you fled to. So we're different than you. And when you say you're the foundation, that means you wouldn't have shit if it weren't for us. That's either true or it's false. And I give the white supremacists the business when they come here and try to debunk that. They know it. Y'all didn't have shit going on over here before foundational Black Americans were the foundation of everything. You didn't have anything going, and you tried and didn't get it popping. That's the reality.
We don't know the beginnings of rap, because as long as our music has been recording, people have been rapping.
The disco DJs separated themselves from us. We were the next generation coming up with this thing, and they were like, what's this little hippity hop thing?
The first time I heard somebody spit a 16 over a breakbeat was probably Melly Mel.
The Melly Mel sound that you hear today, I got that sound from Hollywood.
I was doing this same form of entertainment long before it had a name.
A lot of the gangs were fading out by the time hip-hop came in. A lot of those gangs turned into crews.
As far as influencing hip-hop, I saw no Puerto Rican or Jamaican influences whatsoever.
I started breakdancing in the 70s.
When rap and hip hop was all Black, it was negative. Now that it became a big phenomenon and corporately acceptable, now there's this need to take foundational Black Americans out of the creation of it and give it away to other people. And it's important for us to set the record straight.